Hello and welcome to Jabberjaw. I'm your host, Jessica Dawson Collier, and with me, as always, is Tyson Wheeler Dynas and Matthew David Smith. Guys,
Hey,
welcome.
Hi,
thank you.
thank you.
And you're welcome.
I was just
Again.
I got a little distracted because there was like a couple like outside my window right here, and they were like pointing up at me, and I felt a little bit like I don't know, was it like Times Square when they used to do the news live? I think they were like, "What the hell is that guy doing up there?" And yep, we're doing the Jabberjaw podcast, people. So it's nice to
Nice.
see our
Oh,
fans are enjoying the evening. Yeah,
TRL.
sorry,
What was that on MTV with Carson Daly?
I believe that was Carson Daly. Yeah,
Yeah.
Total Request Live. Yeah.
Memories.
Simpler times, right? Simpler. God, if we could only go back to that.
I would
We
love
thought that
it.
was
I
awful.
would.
Oh, we thought
Yeah,
that was terrible.
it was. Bring it on again.
Carson Daly was the worst it got. No.
He used to date a bunch of people that came on there too. I think he uses a private dating service or something like that.
Why would you not? Like, I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
like, why would you?
That's fair.
The late '90s, early 2000s were his oyster. And
he had a minute, so that's good.
he did.
Not everybody
He
has
did.
a minute, so
Yeah, good for him. What is he up to? Isn't he the host of The Voice or something? Like some music competition show? I'm going to have to ask the producers. It really doesn't matter, and I really don't care. So
Statistically, 60% chance that is true. So.
he might still have a show that's on like 2:30 in the morning on NBC or something. I don't know. Like, he's kind of the Bob Costas, or not Bob Costas. Sorry, the Greg Kinnear of his generation. Just keep plugging away.
That's true. Listeners, let us know what Carson Daly's up to.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
What have you guys been up to? Smith's been moving around, doing things.
Been moving around. Yeah, had a big week since we've last podcast. We last, I guess a week ago Friday, we went to Chicago and saw the Pet Shop Boys, A New Order.
So cool.
Which I spoke a little bit out. Great show. Again, I'm gonna stick with I'm kind of over big venues. It's I don't know how much longer I can do it. And here is the thing that didn't really occur to me until a few days after it. But here's the thing: is like if you're setting down $300, $400, $500 for tickets, here's the one thing that you cannot control with your bottom dollar is who you're sitting next to and your audience. And for that alone, it is just not worth the risk of spending that much money. Now, it wasn't too bad in our row, but we did have like, this drunk couple that just kept, like going back and forth. They do not give you ample legroom. In fact, it's very minimal legroom. Good people at Delta are like, but no, it's terrible. But like people have to get, they get drinks and that's not how it works. Like you go when there's a break. But anyway, but that being said, really good show. Just great to see those guys after a couple of years and never having seen either band. It was probably one of those kind of last chance kind of deals. So really enjoyed it. Had great weather. And then Kathy and I went to North Carolina for 6 days and just kind of a little cabin up in the woods. Had a very friendly neighbor who kind of showed us around and he's just like handy. He's just up there in the woods. I think he's like left we've seen this before. It's like, and I'm sure this might be where I'm headed. Like I just kind of feel that little tinge, but basically like he did his corporate job. This guy, Tyson, you'll find interesting, was actually like one of the heads at Publix, the supermarket chain, which had an incredible subs. If you're ever in the Florida area,
highly recommend it.
Get a sub. Very good subs.
Okay.
A little bit tangential there, but they're very good. And so now just really sweet guy. There was a little yellow lab that was just kind of referred to as a mountain dog. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that's a legal term or what. But very friendly, just adorable dog. Like just did never try to get into the house. Just very patient, and it was really nice. So just super relaxing in the middle of nowhere. The roads are just crazy windy, and I'm sure both of you you're in the mountains. And Tyson, I know you've been to the mountains, and so it's like that everywhere, and just really remote, really relaxing. We went to Asheville for a couple days.
How'd you like that?
It was, Asheville's interesting. It's super busy. Like you're in the middle of nowhere. You are in the middle of like hillbilly USA, and then you go to Asheville, and it's like all the liberals have just
Crammed
focused their
in.
energy like a diamond onto this one central location. And so
Yeah.
you've got like that scene, and it's ultra, very nice, very cool, very packed though, like really tough to get parking, like even on a weekday.
Oh.
Super tough to get parking. But lots of like kind of cute gift shops and all that kind of stuff. A lot of good place to eat. We ate, the name escapes me. I had a really good Italian place one afternoon. But the big focus for me, at least, was the Asheville Pinball Museum, which we'd
So
actually been
cool.
to 2 or 3 years ago. I think he's got between like 80 and 100 machines,
Wow.
and it's really fascinating because some of those like actually go back before like the pre-flipper days, like we're actually the advent of the invention of the flipper,
like
and to
pachinko
even
games,
some of the ones. Sorry, Tyson.
kind of like the pachinko games, like the pre.
Absolutely, yeah, and and even a few of the ones from the early 1900s that are like the old gambling machines, which basically like you put a quarter in, and like Tyson said, like you basically just watch a ball drop, and there's no human interaction or talent required. Um, it was basically gambling, and so it was actually outlawed, I think, in New York State until like the 1970s because
I think
pinball was like so associated with gambling.
it might have been New Jersey, but yeah, they had a
I
thing
think I think that's right. Yeah, I think it
because
was New
they had to
Jersey.
bring some. They had to bring some people into the gaming commission to watch people play pinball to show that there actually was some skill involved in playing it, and that wasn't just blind luck.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that lasted that long. But,
Yeah. But it was, a really good collection of games. And the nice thing is, too, is that they're all, I mean, for the most part, I'd say 70% of them are playable. So you go on, I think it was $15 for the
That's
day. So you
cool.
basically, I think they open at 2 o'clock. They're open to like 9 p.m. It's
no.
like $15 per person for the day. And it like, there's like, probably a good like 50 games that are playable, all from like the old 70s stuff. Like I played like the Harlem Globetrotters and, and to the early mechanical games, to just like sort of weird one-off things. Like there was like this baseball game where you like pitched and then pushed another button to hit, and it was all mechanical from the 60s. Just really kind of fascinating stuff, up to like some of the newer stuff, like the Pinball 2000 stuff, where they started putting in like monitors with the play field. Anyway, if you're halfway sort of remotely interested in the whole video game, pinball machine, highly worth checking out. Just really neat what they've done there, and like really respect what they're doing too, because like keeping that many pinball machines up and running is like a full-time job for probably several people.
Sure.
It's a ton of work, and the pinball mechanics have to work. So really neat place. And they just opened up a new store that was not there when we were last there, but it is a posters and a lunchbox collection, which was actually really interesting.
Cool.
So the posters thing, it was more of a store than a sort of a museum of posters. So there was really nothing original, but a really good variety of reprints in a lot of different sizes. So like if you're just looking for like, kind of, if you're not looking for an original something, but you want something kind of obscure, they had a ton of stuff. It was really impressive, the collection of posters they had. Really cheap too, $10-15 most of the posters were. And they had like a lot, several toys, and then the lunchbox museum, very very tiny area. They had a little velvet rope roped off for the lunchbox museum, and it was just lunchboxes. It was a couple hundred different lunchboxes.
That's so neat.
I sent you guys the highlight, which from 1976, and it was like celebrating the metric system.
Yeah,
so like if you like wanted to be cool with your kids with their Partridge Family lunchboxes, you probably selected incorrectly when you went with the metric system lunchbox, but it was a promotional device from the federal government trying to get people on the metric systems, and America said no. America said no.
We came together as a nation and said no, thank you.
We did. Just one real quick last thing about Asheville that we also went to on the second day we were there. Moog, the synthesizer company, is actually based in Asheville.
Neat.
And the only reason we figured this out is we were driving by as we were leaving the first day, and I saw Moog inscribed on one of the side of like the old buildings, like an old, looked old. And I was like, is Moog from here? And it is. We weren't able to actually go to the store. Apparently they have their company headquarters / store where they have a bunch of old Moogs, and you can buy them if you're wealthy. But there's also a Moog-seum in downtown Asheville, which we completely missed. So
Amazing.
I really appreciate the effort, and I think it's awesome that they're doing a Moog museum. It was not that great. There was like a Moog there. There was one Moog in the Moog Museum. That's really hard to say. The Moog. That's why they
The
call them
Moog
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 Museum.
Museum,
museums. You don't
Moog
have to say it
Museum.
twice.
Oh,
Now I got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can't.
I mean, it was neat. There were a few interactive exhibits and like sort of kind of explaining like how analog synthesis works. But here's the deal: if you really want to learn how analog, it's not like a 5 minute conversation. Like
Yeah. How
it's
much time
really
do
much
you have?
like yes. So like a book or like an hour long documentary is much better served. Again, kudos to them for this guy like setting it up, and I think it's neat. If you're ever in town, it's like I don't know, $10 to go in, check it out, support them. But if you're looking to actually see sort of like artifacts, they're very few. So anyway, had a great vacation. We're back home, and
So the dog came with the property. Beth was looking at she was like, "Did they take a loaner dog?" I'm like, "I don't know."
that's just what I referred to. No, it was just apparently one of the neighbors, who I think we, through sort of reduction and some analysis, figured out who the likely candidate the owner was at the end of the vacation. We had a lot of time to just relax and think. It was nice. But it was just somebody owned it. But I think our ending theory is that they were like mountain people, and like we were like the people from the city, and like we had like all like the good snacks, and we had like the hot tub, and like we'd like would go spend $14 on dog jerky, because I think this dog has figured out that like she likes her life better with the vacationers than her own home. That's
Yeah.
my theory
That's
anyway.
fair. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. Like I think like that dog like literally just laying there in the middle of the mountains, just like just like the happiest dog in the world, nicest location, and so she's living her best life. So but I don't know if I don't know if you can actually just get the dog. I think it sort of comes with the property.
Beth was looking at the picture. She goes, "God, that is an ugly dog." I was like, "Honey, what? You don't know anything about that dog." Yeah, no, that's cool. That's that. Yeah, that's really cool. We drove when we went to the beach. We drove through the Smoky Mountains, which is where you were, because we drove
Yeah.
through Asheville, and that's some backwood shit back there.
Yes.
So I'm sure you saw some shit.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's crazy too, because it's like, I mean, you'll see like super ridiculous nice houses, and then you'll see just
An actual
awful
outhouse.
Shanty.
like there really are like sort of like you almost see them as though there's almost like these land encampments that you can tell that like, okay, a family had some land, and then basically everybody who has any claim to that land basically built whatever the hell they could afford to build on that parcel of property. And so there was one that we went there, I think Kathy pointed out, which like it had like an actual house, then it had like a mobile home, then it had an RV, then it had like another smaller RV, and then even shittier RV, and then just a couple tents. And it was this sort of like, you could just see like the natural progression of like this sort of family community. It's interesting. Like it's an interesting part of the country that I don't know a whole lot about, but it was it really kind of interesting how, like I said, like Asheville is just like, what, like why is this here? Like it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so it was fun.
I think Asheville's like the Boulder of Colorado or the Lawrence of Kansas.
That's what I equated to. Yeah,
kind of sounds like it.
yeah. It's the sort of liberal, twilight in this little thing.
I love how many museums they have going on there. That's
they
a
got
nice
a lot of
little
stuff.
nugget.
Yeah, there was also like a science museum downtown that we didn't go to. I'm trying to think of what else was down there. Like I said, you'd mentioned, I think too, lots of breweries, and we really didn't have time to. Nobody really is interested in eating anything. We noticed this sort of thing at a couple restaurants we were at, but like people would just like want to come in, but they just want to go to the bar. They didn't want to like eat anything. They just went and the restaurant we were at like didn't allow people to do that. So they're all like pissed off. They were like couldn't like because they didn't want to eat. They just wanted to like have drinks. And so it's like a thing. I think if you're into that life, you can just spend all day there. One of my favorite things, I saw this group of middle-aged women, and they had these shirts that like, I think it said like the Fall Crew. And it was like this sort of like scripty font, but it was like leaves in the background. I think what they did is they printed these up, and I think they go down to Asheville every fall and have a ladies the fall crew. So I thought
That
was,
is
I
adorable.
thought that was nice.
The fall crew.
The fall
I'm going to try to find them and reach out to them. Maybe we can talk to them. Do a little interview.
Yeah.
The story behind the shirt.
The story behind the shirt. I'm sure it's fascinating.
That's a
Kill
podcast.
some time. Yeah. Hell, hey. Tice, what have you been up to?
Yes.
Not much really. No, not much. I've been really, it hasn't rained here in like, I don't know, 7 months or something like that. So I've really been putting off like I haven't had to mow in like 7 weeks. That's no joke.
Damn.
So like, I mean, I probably could mow, but I just don't feel like it. But anyway, it's getting colder, thank God. So yeah, I just kind of spend a lot of time worrying about the yard, I guess. I haven't really done anything.
No rain today. No rain today.
No rain today. We had a little rain this morning, and I don't know how much it rained, but it was all gone an hour after it happened because I got up and looked for puddles, and there was nothing. No, not much. Just got some stuff going on, but not much. I feel bad. We haven't even watched any new movies or it's just been weird. But I did go to the lake. Did I talk about this last time?
No, this is
No,
new. Because you went last weekend, right?
Yes,
it's been a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, we went last. Yeah, it was not last weekend. Yeah, the last weekend, not this weekend, but last weekend. My sister has a place out there. We went with Sally and my parents, and Sally's husband Brett, and Beth and I went, and it's just weird. Lake lifestyle it's cool. It's weird. Like they have this really nice big boat. It sits like 50. I have no idea. It's huge. But it probably fits. You could probably get 10 or 12 people on there quite comfortably. And it goes really fast. But she's got this condominium on the lake, and it's in like it's like a 10-story building. It's just got finished a few years ago, so it's nice. So we would go, and we would like be lunchtime, so we would go get on the boat, and we would drive to go get lunch somewhere on the lake, and we did that both days, and we went out night boating, and it was very relaxing. We played cards. Sally took a bunch of the LPs that Dad and Mom had when we were growing up, and she took them. We went through them. Sally and I did, and she took a bunch of them to the lake, and so that was fun. She played this song, which Sally and I once performed together, but I used to perform all the time in 6th and 7th grade. It was a song from the Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and she just hit me with it, and I was like, oh no. And then somebody videotaped it, and that was hilarious. And Sally was like, that never goes on the internet. Anyway, it was nice.
Oh man, are you sure, Sally? Come on, let's it.
But it was fun, and it was very relaxing, and it was a nice break from what's going on. So that was cool. And yeah, and I think that's it really. There's other stuff, but it doesn't matter. I don't know about you, Dawson. What have you been up to?
Losing at fantasy football this week.
Okay, well I think you buried the lead a little bit because you were like, Tyson, you're solving crimes. Matthew is killing us he's first off.
I know, Smith, you're fucking killing it. And
I have no idea how. I still don't quite understand how
ahead. You're so far ahead of me. I'm in second place,
dude.
And you're still so far ahead of me. I'm like,
so could someone explain why I'm so good?
I think it's your hair.
The mystery as old as time.
Yeah, I need a haircut. So, oh my God. Speaking of, this is like, so I keep all this travel has interfered with my haircut schedule. And so I think I'm like 4 cuts behind, and it's just, I'm getting you're growing your hair out? Because clearly it's obvious. I don't know what the hell to do with it.
I think it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. I'm going to keep with it as long as I think maybe through the winter. I think I might just keep it kind of moppy through the winter. And
I'd keep it until you lose 1 week in fantasy football. Then,
that's true.
Maybe that'll make there you go. Not going to happen.
Yes, but somehow, some way.
Freaking Josh Allen.
Yeah.
fucking
I'll look
Josh
and
Allen.
consider your trade if I can even figure out how that like works. Like I've only dropped like one player because I think he was questionable and I wouldn't even traded that right. So
I almost said something
Dude.
today because I was watching Dawson like drop and add players like a madman this morning. She's like, I gotta stop losing. What's going on?
I always wonder if anybody's paying attention to that shit. I'm
Oh
like, I
yeah,
must look like a crazy person.
I get alerts. And when you trade with somebody, like so you trade with Jonas, your husband, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And there's that every time you do that, Beth and I are like collusion because that's like an insider trade. You guys are basically like, I'll give
But
you
we're
this if you need
not. Like,
this.
we're both very competitive, especially Jonas. Like, this week we're actually going head to head, and I don't know what's going to happen.
so
One of us may be sleeping on the couch. Who
have
knows?
you have you seen the league? I know Matt's seen the league. Have you seen the league?
Yeah. Yeah.
FX? Yeah,
We
yeah.
used to watch it pretty consistently.
So
Yeah.
that that whole idea of collusion is like a front and center
Yeah.
in that. So,
Yeah.
but when you trade to another person, everybody gets 2 days to object whether you do it. I can
I
object to a
didn't
trade.
know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Shit. All right.
no, it's
Please
fine.
don't object.
I don't
Please.
care. Yeah, I don't care. But I
Right.
mean, not yet. I don't care. But
Oh, okay. There
but
it
if
is.
you started trading all your best players or vice versa to the other team, and then you guys won the pot, then I might start to object. I would call it collusion. You see how
That's fair. We have
what I mean?
not done any of
No,
that
you
as
haven't.
of
You haven't
yet.
done it.
Yeah. No.
I will say that at the lake, my parents and Sally were like, "Can you set us up a fantasy football league? Because you guys talk about it all the time. It sounds really fun." So,
Oh my God, they should have joined ours. That would have been awesome.
so anyway, next year we're gonna have a little Sally's kids and Sally and mom and dad and me and Beth. And if you guys want to get on, that's fine. But anyway, it was just kind of cute. But anyway,
I love it. Honestly, it makes like watching football so much more interesting.
it does.
Really.
It really does.
Which I enjoy in general, but I mean, I lost bad to Smith on Sunday. And so yesterday when the Chiefs started playing, I was like, whatever, let's make dinner. Let's make something else. I don't even care anymore. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, Kelsey, 4 touchdowns last night.
Dude, they were on fire. Way to go, Chiefs. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That game was insane.
Yeah, it was bonkers.
Megan and Paul Solomon were at that game, and they were drinking like tall boys that were 9.3 ABV, as I found out from Snapchat. Oh yeah, they were getting hammered. Like Paul posted this picture, like zoomed in on the Raiders fans, and he captioned it, "Let's beat these motherfuckers!" Like halfway through the third quarter.
Jesus.
Oh, it was amazing. Amazing. Good stuff. Good times.
Didn't you go to like, we went to a place. We did go out and eat a couple times this last week. We went to a place called Taco Nation, which is pretty good. It's specialized in street tacos, but it's a restaurant. So next time you guys are in town, it's
like
pretty
the sound
good.
of that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We did
Taco
do that.
Nation.
Yeah.
Noted. We did go play pool at a really fun dive bar when you guys come to visit that we can go to. It's called Night Owl Lounge in Broomfield, and it is divey as shit. I mean, there was like above the men's room, I guess the label had fallen off, and they just put a piece of duct tape that said men. Like, if that gives you any inclination of how crappy it really was. The pool tables did not have the right balls in them. Like, we kept having to like trade with other pool tables. There was a guy, shit you not, walking around in a fucking bathrobe and slippers.
Sweet.
Just this casual guy. Yeah, it was amazing. I loved it.
That's the thing. I think that's the thing about dive bars, because there's so many faux dive bars. But if there's a level of sketch to a real dive bar, and that sounds like
it was real. It wasn't just showy.
That's a pretty good.
No, you're right. It is sort of like it's like one of those Venn diagrams of like sort of like weird uncomfortableness and safety, and like that overlap is the right dive bar right there.
Oh, it's so
this
true.
Is crazy as shit, but I feel okay. Like
I feel okay, and the drinks are on the cheap.
That is yes,
Yeah.
very true, very
We
true.
were slightly concerned only because as we kept like walking towards the back and, just observing everything going on, our friends that we were with, the wife in the couple, Carrie Ann, was like, dude, I'm pretty sure we're going to get COVID from this. Like, yeah, we might. This might be how it happens, but it was worth it. And we're
Yeah.
feeling fine. Jonas and I don't know about Chris and Carrie Ann. Sorry, guys, if you're feeling like shit. I think they're fine. But it was super fun. It was nice just to get out and have some Mexican food and play some pool. And Jonas is very good at trick shots. So, and the way he does it is like very Jonas. Like he does these weird things with his pool cue and he will make it like every time. And it stuns everybody else around. I gotta post that video. You guys will laugh your ass off. He was just like, he was literally like, had the pool cue up like this, and he was like angling it just right. And the whole bar behind him is watching him do it, laughing their asses off. And he fucking made it. Like, it was crazy.
Cool.
I feel like he needs to go on some sort of ESPN show, but maybe we'll see.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
You never know when you have your good skills. These are all skills that you can use in real life.
I know.
It's like like I'm pretty good with a yo-yo, but it just never comes up.
Yeah,
You
that's
are?
kind of
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, like,
You know
it's
that?
just. But I just don't. I'm not carrying around a yo-yo. I'm not that guy. Like.
Dude, you should be that guy.
if you ever Dawson, if you ever want to secretly make Tyson's day, just go like, hey Tyson, walk the dog. Like totally, he's in a great mood for hours. Yeah, you're right. It's hard. It's a hard. You just can't it's like magic. Like you can't just
Yeah.
be,
That's
like
true.
if you're that guy doing magic on a street corner, like no,
Yeah.
you gotta. People need to want magic for it. I think.
I mean, I might as well if I walk around with a yo-yo just downtown Kansas City, I might as well be riding like a unicycle. It's the same vibe, like. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that anytime
Give the
soon.
people what they want, Tice. Come on.
I bet like if you did that long enough, you're gonna like find like another yo-yo guy who's been doing it longer,
For
and
sure.
he's gonna be pissed. And you guys gonna have turf war, and shit's gonna go down like it goes in KC. I mean, it's just gonna go down because your yo-yo war.
You're on his turf, yeah.
He was on his turf.
That's so sad. We could have been friends in a different life. It's too bad.
I love it.
Duncan, you Duncan man was the.
I'm a Duncan, yeah, I'm a
yeah.
Duncan. I got a butterfly, and I got a few.
Dang.
Butterfly, yeah, those were a completely different kind of style.
That's fucking awesome.
No, it's not. But
It was like, like those weird icebreakers at work where people are like, what's your hidden talent? I'm like, I literally do not have one. If I had yo-yo skills, I would whip that bitch out and be like showing them up.
Yeah, I do. I will wow them with around the world every once in a while. I like it when people that don't know how to, I like it when people don't know how to do around the world, and basically you just have this this boulder that's swinging around in the air, and it's
so many eyes were lost in the mid '80s.
Oh God, yeah, for
overly
sure.
confident fourth graders.
I will tell you, I have the masterpiece of my collection, which is my yo-yo collection, which is, I have like 6 yo-yos, so it's not a huge collection, but it's I went to a conference, E3, which is this big
nice.
video game conference, and I was there as a student, and I was there looking for maybe jobs or whatever. And the military had a thing set up where they were trying to hire people to do VR for simulation, bombing raids and shit like this. This is like 1998, so it was a little while ago. But anyway, I got a United States Defense Department branded yo-yo.
What?
Yeah, and it's just a yo-yo. It's blue and it says United States Defense Department, and that was the swag they had there for the kids, and yeah, but the yo-yo originally was a weapon. It was a weapon for the Chinese, like in 1500.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah.
So I was like, well, they probably didn't think of that, but I'm gonna allow it. So Anyway,
I'll allow it.
Makes sense. I'll
I'll
allow
allow
it.
your history.
I'll allow your. I mean, I'm
It's not very
gonna.
American of you, Tyson, but then.
Well, it's one of two things. Either somebody was like, "Hey, did you know this used to be a yo-yo used to be a weapon? We should make this," or somebody was like, "What's the cheapest thing we can buy without like how about a yo-yo?" And like, that's fine. So it's one of two things, or it could be a third thing where somebody was like, "Tee hee, this used to be a weapon. It'll be so funny." And so I don't know. I have no idea how it came about, but I'm gonna allow it all three ways. Doesn't matter. It's fine.
Oh man. On that note, you guys want to do some headlines?
Yeah.
Sure.
Speaking of nuclear war,
Of the week. Oh my god, I was so loud that Smith's video went off.
oh my goodness, he's back.
Goals achieved.
Okay, I tried to use only good news this week. So
Good. I like it. Yay.
I'll be right back. I gotta go. I got all good news.
yeah, I mean,
Smith,
there's
We have
bring the
different
bad
lists.
news.
if it's
No,
not
I don't
if it's
really
not
bad
if
news.
it's not good, it's just stupid. So
Okay, good.
Okay,
That's good.
that works.
Stupid is good. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to grab my keyboard. It's charging. Decided to die right before the show,
Okay.
so
that's,
should be
that's all right.
done. So
I'll wait.
Yay.
We'll wait.
Okay. We'll wait.
Oh, you don't
Shoot
need to
the
wait.
shit.
No, don't wait.
Oh.
No, get started. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll catch you in 30 seconds.
Tice, go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I
Spread some
found this
good
on
news.
comicbookresources.com, which is sadly
Uh-huh.
something I read every day. Classic PC game The Oregon Trail lands a musical film adaptation.
Of
So I thought that was
course.
good news.
That's fine.
Lyle Loud Crocodile directors, I've never heard of this, but apparently it's out in theaters now, are developing a musical film based on the classical educational game, The Oregon Trail. So I'm not going to get into it, but one of the things I thought was interesting was that they're like, how we all know Oregon Trail. It was the only video game you were allowed to play from like 1985 until early 2000s in school because it was
In school, in the library.
in the library. It was
Yeah.
vaguely educational. But
Yeah.
one of the things they were talking about doing in this musical is that basically when you play that game, you are going to die. It's almost an expectation that everybody in your group is going to die because they're trying to teach you that the Oregon Trail was difficult and dangerous.
Yeah.
So the idea of the Oregon Trail, the idea of the Oregon Trail musical, sort of having that dark bent to it, where everybody's going to die eventually, probably, is my kind of musical, really. So
I love it. Yeah, that's true. That's a good way to put it.
This is from Texas Monthly. It's why the group quote hot girl walks unquote popping up around Texas are kind of beautiful, and basically Texas women often feel targeted and unsafe. I think all women feel that probably. With hot girl
as
walks,
a woman, I can say yes. Yes, we do.
with hot girl walks, they're again finding safety and well-being in one another, and basically. These girls are just organizing these walks, just they can just go and have a leisurely walk with a bunch of other girls, and they all have to basically just be very positive. They feel safe because they're all walking around together, and they're just it seems like a really good idea. And so they're making friends. Lots of people are making friends because it's kind of hard to make friends as adults and when you're in new towns and things like that. So
That's true.
I thought that was nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, so this was a little while ago. I don't know if this happened in between or maybe it happened just before our last one, but the New York City mayor said Kansas doesn't have a brand. I don't know if you
Oh,
caught
yeah.
any of that.
Glassman sent me that, and she was fucking pissed. Apparently, she wrote him a letter.
Yeah, I saw the headline, but I didn't know what that meant. So I mean, like, what do you mean, like Kansas? What are they talking about?
He basically went out and he said he was talking about when people come places, they come to New York City. New York City has a brand. He's like, Kansas, for example, doesn't have a brand. So he just said it out of nowhere. Everybody hates his mayor anyway, right?
Yeah, he's a total ass.
Okay.
So on Twitter, they basically flooded it with people being like, as a New Yorker, I apologize to Kansas. The people of Kansas, our mayor is a dickhole, and just lots of stuff like that.
Wow, they must really hate their mayor. Like
They
that's
do.
like they're just going out of their way to hate that guy. That's
Yeah,
funny.
I know. Because I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting all the support, but
Yeah, right. Exactly.
anyway, so like Laura Kelly, who's the governor in Kansas, she hit back. Derek Schmidt, who's running for governor, he hit back. A bunch of Kansans, actually, a bunch of politicians from Kansas, a bunch of people in New York from Kansas, and a bunch of just straight up New Yorkers and people who hate this guy chimed in. This is what Laura Kelly said. I thought it was kind of cool. Kansas is the best state in America, and I welcome anyone to come enjoy the natural beauty of the rolling Flint Hills, our farms and ranches that feed the world, business and family-friendly policies, and our rich history of fighting for freedom. After all, it is no coincidence that we've attracted over $14 billion in new business investments to Kansas, including Panasonic, along with the FIFA World Cup. So anyway, I found this article, and it basically it just lists a bunch of what Kansas's brands are. Now this came from the Kansas City Star. So more affordable rent and housing, um, Jayhawks basketball, and now Jayhawks football. I don't know if you guys are following that. That's going crazy right now.
So weird.
Yeah, what a weird. Yeah,
Doesn't make any sense.
a lot of weird
K-State,
shit's happened this year, but that
Yeah, that is
K-State
strange.
Yeah.
and KU are both in the top 20. It's crazy in football. It's nuts. I'm even watching the games, which is fucked
You
up.
are? I need
Yeah.
to start. Yeah, I should probably start doing
Well, shit,
that.
they were the main game on ESPN on Saturday. I couldn't believe it. Don't get me started on ESPN. That's a different thing. That's my
Is that your unplug this
It is
week?
my unplug this week.
Oh, nice. I like it.
exciting.
Wheat and being in the breadbasket of America, our Free State legacy, which is awesome, our beautiful prairies, our stance on abortion rights, Ted Lasso, our barbecue, cinnamon rolls, and chili, and sunflower,
Yeah.
obviously. Cinnamon roll and chili thing is a big deal.
It is a very big deal for a good
People-
reason. It's
Yeah.
delicious.
So anyway, I thought that was cool. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it either. Oh, this is sad, but I just wanted to mention Judy Tenuta died. She was 72. She was a stand-up comedian using accordion. She would write songs. It was all goofy. She was kind of like a gimmick comic, but she always made me laugh. Anyway, she died this week. But if you don't know who Judy Tenuta is, it's her last name is spelled Tenuta. I highly recommend looking her up. Don't watch her first appearance on Letterman, but watch anything else. It's something else. There's never been anyone quite like her, and she does. Yeah, she's good. And then I just picked this one out. This isn't good news, but or bad news really. But I just like the tagline of this headline. So the headline is: Trump attorney reportedly blames other Trump attorney, hires her own attorney. And then the tagline is, MAGA really does now stand for making attorneys get attorneys, wrote one former federal prosecutor.
I've not heard that before, but I like it.
That's amazing.
That is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, that came out today. So that's why
I love that.
And that are my headlines.
Well done.
Nice.
Got a smile on my face. Smith, take it off.
All right. I have several. Take it off. All right.
That's a headlines quote. Put that in the song.
All right. Wow.
Got a smile on my face. Take it off.
Take it off.
Fucking writing that down.
I don't have an impulse anymore. All right. First up, the DART mission. Probably remember a couple weeks ago, NASA launched a spacecraft into an asteroid to try and prove the theory that they could potentially move an asteroid out of orbit. They got the results back about 3 hours ago, and it worked. Which is actually tremendously exciting. So for those of you who are fans of Armageddon, we have found a subtler, a more effective approach than nuking it. Although that was a great film, and not my favorite of those just ridiculous action fests, but a dumb movie.
Yeah.
It was like '98. It was a dumb time. Like it was a
It was
TRL
really dumb.
Armageddon. It's
Yeah.
all
Awful
flows,
movies.
all flows.
Yeah.
Still, Summer
Yep.
Time, I'd take it in a heartbeat.
Same.
I would say, Matt, if you love Armageddon, you should watch Moonfall. It's as dumb or dumber, but still great.
Okay, very good. I think it says somewhere in the article that they were, and I don't exactly, I'm not very sciencey. I mean, I believe in science totally, but I don't understand it, all that well. When you get down to the numbers and the graphs, but it did say that they were hoping to consider this successful if they would nudge the asteroid 10 minutes or more outside of its orbit, and it sounds like it nudged it like 32 minutes. So it actually was
Wow.
a resounding success for NASA.
Whoa.
They're having a good year. So this is exciting time.
They are having a good, except for that stupid moon rocket. Like,
Yeah,
just get that thing
except
going.
for the
Yeah.
stupid moon rocket, which I
Which is
don't
the
know.
least interesting thing that they're
It
doing
really
right now.
is, and I don't know why we're going back. I don't
Space
know.
Force.
I guess.
Oh God.
Space
Waste
Force
of time and money.
Live. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh, Not really the best headline on this, but again, I figured we'd talk about it for a minute. Apparently, Elon Musk is buying Twitter again. Apparently, once they looked at the lawsuit and everything, they essentially said, "Oh, we're fucked. So we're probably going to have to buy this thing." So I think there's a deadline of like October 28th or something. I don't know. Do you believe him? That's my question to you guys: is do you believe that he's legitimately going to buy Twitter, or do you think it's just another delay tactic with additional shenanigans yet to be determined?
I really feel like anything's possible. Didn't this guy actually like have a conversation with Putin recently?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
Which
Has,
I'm like, why the fuck is he talking to Putin? What are they
Right.
talking about? I don't know. It's Elon.
He and
Anything's
Shaq do the
possible.
same speaking tours, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be curious. Like it's like still like again, it's like 40% overvalued right now if it goes through. So I don't know. Like I'm just really kind of interested. Does mean if deal closes, does mean Trump's back on Twitter.
Kanye's back.
What does that mean
Right-wing
for Truth
cesspool.
Social?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens. If the threats, I remember a lot of threats about that happening last time. People were saying we'll pull out of Twitter. It'll be interesting to see if people hold to that. So
Yeah.
Do we know how much money he's going to lose if he doesn't buy? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I heard it was like $1 billion, but if it's more than like $5 billion, I'll bet he just buys it.
yeah,
Even though
that's
he's
the
going
only
to lose
thing I'd
money on
heard
it.
was like a blanket penalty of $1 billion. But who knows if there were other things they could tack onto it? And lawyers are expensive, especially those kind of lawyers. So I'm
You know,
sure.
I'm just going to go out and say that Elon Musk has failed at everything he's tried to do except for PayPal. Right?
That's true.
So his fucking self-driving cars don't work. We don't live on Mars. You know, he constantly throws out plans for world peace, and everybody fucking makes fun of him. I mean,
It starts Twitter fights with anybody he can think of. Like
Anybody.
it's
Yeah.
he's a genius, and he can't stop some kid from tracking his personal flights. I mean, come on. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was just
All right.
weird. It was kind of a weird cave. Like the guy that's not one of those people that you see cave very often in public, and so it was kind of interesting
No.
to see. He didn't have a smart ass tweet about something gross and trying to deflate somebody. So, what else do we have in my magical folder of sadness? I'm not even going to talk about that one. It's too sad. Share it offline, but no, I don't want to.
Share.
Angela Lansbury
Yeah.
I
passed away
know.
this evening.
R.I.P.
She a couple of interesting things. I did not realize that she was actually mostly renowned in the theater when she was young. I think she won like 8 Tony Awards, something like that. And was nominated when she was very young twice for an Academy Award as the youngest nominee ever in that category. I
Oh, I
didn't,
didn't know that.
yeah, I didn't
That's awesome.
actually have time to look up what films though were, but I read it in the brief article I was reading on her. And yeah, so 93, 97, something like that. She Murder She Wrote, probably where most of
Oh,
us
so
renowned.
good. There's a really good
Whether you
Instagram account called Murder She Grammed, and they just post like the
nice.
funniest snippets of Murder She Wrote. I highly recommend it. It's so good, especially if
Yeah,
you're in mourning. She was the best.
yeah. Let's see if there was another. The only, just I'll kind of generalize this one to end on. So Kanye West went on Tucker Carlson
Finally.
last week for some reason. And I don't know if you guys know more details about this than not. There are several articles about that, but apparently he went on Fox News, said a bunch of crazy shit, a bunch of anti-Semitic shit, and the Republican Party collectively embraced him and said,
Yeah.
this guy, we know this brand of crazy. This is our brand of crazy." And so they started like basically defending what he said. And again, I apologize. I don't exactly know what he said verbatim. I know he
Well, he
tweeted
would
a couple things.
also
Good.
like at his fashion show wore a shirt that said "White Lives Matter."
Yes, right. Which they also loved. So it was
Yeah.
really Kanye had a big week, and it's really like when your life collapses and you're just a fucking idiot with a ton of money and a ton of followers, you just become a Republican. That is the move. It was Trump's move. It's Musk's move. It's going to be Kanye's move, and
Yeah, you're
it
right.
really is. It's
You're
just like
right.
it's just But anyway, so so the attorney general from my state of Indiana basically went to Twitter and defended the comments that he made. And I saw this one morning and I was like, Todd Rokita defends what? And it's like, what alternate universe are we living in? But yes, now they're like our attorney, and so he got a ton of pushback. I don't know. Does either one? I couldn't really figure out because that's the thing is it's so filtered now. I can't tell what the incendiary statement was made. It's just very generalized. Does anybody know what
Well,
he sort of said or alluded to?
I know he said something on Twitter, or maybe they posted it from that article on Twitter, that he said that he was calling out the Jews, and he could do that because black people were Jews, the original Jews, or
The
something like that,
original Jews, I think, is how you put it. Yeah.
which is pretty weird.
It's a little
Um,
weird.
but like,
But then he went into a rant about how they've been coming after him for years, and then it
right.
started to get real bad.
Yeah, and apparently the article I did pull up was that apparently someone, I think let me see who it's out of, just leaked a bunch of the clips that for some reason Fox News didn't air. So I
Oh,
don't know if they had like a videographer like go rogue or something and post a bunch of but basically it shows like all this additional shit that he said that they just cut right out of it just from the interview. So he didn't look so crazy. But yeah, so that's apparently turning. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I can't find it right now, but apparently someone leaked some additional uncut footage of Kanye Unleashed, which yeah, boy, it's
Kanye Unleashed.
and I guess I lied. One quick last one. Joe Biden decriminalized or actually pardoned all simple possession federal cases for marijuana this week, which is a big deal. It's a long time
yep.
coming. Barack, you should have done this a long time ago, but
Yep.
all right. It's all right. 15 years later, but it happened. I think next they're trying to reschedule it to something other than Schedule One drug. I think is kind of next on his agenda, and hopefully they'll get some momentum on this to either see nationwide decriminalization or. But anyway, it was a big win for him. It was an easy win. They were kind of calling it a soft October surprise, but I don't know.
Well, he really is. I mean, he really is all about like he doesn't want to. I mean, this is a big change for him because he's traditionally been very staunch about not wanting
Yes, yeah.
legalized marijuana. I mean, he's been that way since I don't know, a long time. So I think this was pretty much a political move, and I'm fine
Yeah.
with it. It should have been done anyway, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
I think that dude will get a little taste of the, the praise that he gives. I think he'll get a little hipper. I think he'll be like, all right,
What do you guys think about legalized prostitution? No, Joe, hold on.
Hey, hey.
Whoa, whoa.
Too soon. Don't break a hip. Yeah.
Second midterms, Joe. Second midterms.
He had like a beneficial gaffe this week, which I think legitimately was a hot mic, but he was like talking to somebody in Florida or something, and he went off
Oh,
camera.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he's like, he just off the cuff says, nobody fucks with a Biden. And just they caught it. It's like, God damn it, Joe! Like you kick ass when you're not like you just accidentally like. So it was nice to hear. So he's getting his mojo back. I've talked a little bad on Joe. He's disappointed me a little bit, but we got like a month till midterm, so it's gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be an exciting month.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I got. So Dawson,
that's pretty good. I just have a few. They're a little all over the place, so please bear with me as usual. The Hocus Pocus cottage is now welcoming visitors on Airbnb. I love this because one of my plugs this week is Hocus Pocus 2. I know the reviews are in and people feel like they took too much from the original movie and tried to cram it all into the second. I don't care. I loved it. I love seeing the three women back together. I loved all of the musical performances that they did. It was fantastic. But if you're a super fan, like I'm not a super fan, I'm a fan of it. But one of my really good friends, Laura Decker, is a super fan. And so if you are too, you can go onto Airbnb and stay with your loved ones at this super cool cottage. I don't know what it's looking like now. I know when I looked at it a week ago, it was booked through like the end of next year. So you may have to wait a while, but it looks pretty neat. Not gonna lie. So we'll post something online somewhere so you can check it out.
I saw that. That looked really cool. I guess the first people could stay there for like $31 a night, but I'm sure after that it's probably like $600 a night.
It's gonna keep going up for sure. And then the other one, Lil Nas X, whoever that is. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I'm old. I don't know who this kid is. Pauses Atlanta concert to take a mean shit. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
I think I sent it to you. Yeah. He literally paused his concert and left stage for about 5 to 10 minutes and came back and was like just talking about what he had just done. This is where we're at right now in America, just with performers and everyone in general. Lovely. Yeah. And then the last headline actually comes from a listener. Shout out to Tony Dryling. Boozy feral pig steals beer, gets drunk, and starts fight with a cow. This headline is from the Independent. Apparently this pig just, literally broke in, drank a bunch of beers, and tried to fight a cow. I think there might be video on it. I'm sad to report that the actual pig that got drunk and did all of this has now passed away.
No.
So RIP. But just that's a lovely headline. More of this, I in my life, as opposed to the other trash. But
probably make like the best bratwurst ever, though.
Oh my god, yeah,
there's a very good bratwurst out of that pig.
Oh,
very good.
He died, so man could, I don't know, have a nice Sunday.
That's true. And then this isn't a headline,
just since
but
you brought
it is
that up,
news.
I had.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, Tyson. Hello.
No, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Smith and I, our hometown of Hays, Kansas, had an Oktoberfest this last week.
Oh, yes.
And they made it into the Guinness Book of World Records with the world's largest beer rock, weighing in at 96.5 pounds. Yes.
I saw that. I was I didn't. Was there a previous entry in the the World Book for
That
beer
is a great
cigars? See, I
question.
don't.
I do not know. I
Yeah,
doubt it. I highly
probably
doubt
not. I'm
it.
guessing. I want to know what was second.
Yeah.
No, I saw that. Heard the weather was kind of shitty. It looked like it
Yeah.
was kind of rainy and like 50 degrees, and kind of like the weather was the last time I was Oktoberfest, and it really did not seem all that festive in that kind of climate. But you did send me the t-shirts this year were just
Oh, they were
I
bad.
they were not remotely funny and yeah, like
It
I
made
got
my
out there,
Hayes.
damn guys.
It made my Hayes America Oktoberfest T-shirt that I bought at Oktoberfest look like a fucking classic. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
it
You're
was
right. Yeah.
it was bad.
Yeah, they were
Uh,
really bad this year.
Oh, I mean, like just like they put like 15 minutes worth of effort maybe into it.
Yeah, maybe.
And yeah, it was just real bad. And they printed those, and I'm sure people bought them. And yeah, so bad stuff. I got that cute
Yeah.
little boot. Like I got some neat swag 3 or 4 years ago from the little boot koozie. I think from the Hayes Historical Society.
Yeah,
Now
that was
that is
adorable.
quality merchandise. I
I
still
use that on a regular basis. Yeah,
have that.
I really do.
It's just
It's the perfect size for my White Claws.
it is cute as a button too because it looks like your beer sitting in a boot. It's like wow. Uh,
Oh,
so
Hayes,
yeah,
make better
okay.
choices. Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't hear any other tale of anything from Oktoberfest. No deaths, as far as I know.
No deaths. I think everybody was, yeah, fine. Found sober drivers
Everyone
to
was
get them,
fine.
it
take
was
them
Well,
around.
alive. Everyone
Yeah,
was alive.
alive. They were alive.
They
Yes.
were alive.
the weather was it was too cold to get shit faced completely. And so
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yes.
mean, people were having to wear gloves and hats and
Uh,
all of the garb.
yeah.
They had a cornhole tournament, but I don't
of course,
know who won that. Yeah, of course, right?
yeah, of
And
course.
then they had that stiff arm contest, like who could hold a beer, like a
Oh.
stein of beer, the
Oh yeah.
longest
What did
between men and women.
what
Yeah.
how do you know like how long like the record what like how long did I mean that sounds I mean I don't know how long maybe
I
five
don't
ten
know how
minutes
long I could do that. I mean, I've never thought about doing that.
right
Like that,
exactly
you
like
know,
you
it's
wouldn't know
just
until you did it
I
but
yeah.
don't
like I
I
need
don't
a
know.
good award to
Yeah, I don't know how long I could watch that competition before wandering off. You're like,
That's true.
I was just gonna. I had this headline and I wasn't gonna bring it up, but since you brought it up, Dawson, have you heard about this? This is the headline: Texas mother believes Hocus Pocus 2 will unleash hell into viewers' homes.
Oh, I did see that. I saw the headline, but I didn't read about it.
I think I saw that in
What's
Christian Nightmares actually I think they retweeted that or something
Yeah,
but
some lady was like, she posted something on Facebook, and is a worst case scenario is this is her talking about watching it. You unleash hell on your kids and in your home. The whole movie is based on witches harvesting children for blood sacrifices. Now, I've never seen that. I've never seen this Disney movie, but
it sounds badass
I
that's what
feel like that's not really what it is. Because I might watch it if that's really what it
right
was. But she went on to say that something along the lines of, do not watch this film. Everybody thinks it's fake and innocent, but they could be casting any type of spell that they want to. Anything could come through that TV screen into your home. You know how TV works. So,
uh-huh. Yep.
yeah. So anyway, just heads up if you're going to watch that. Just a pre-warning for the plugs coming up.
Thanks, Tyson. Thanks for that warning. You saved a lot of lives.
I hope they add
I
that
hope
as one of
so.
like the single or like word disclaimers is like, when you watch smoking, violence, may unleash all of hell. I hope that's Netflix does the right thing there.
This
Oh
movie may
man.
cause seizures and blood sacrifices.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. All right, shall we get into plugs?
Let's do some
Let
plugs.
there be light.
Ooh, let
Okay.
there be light.
You, the ice cream manufacturer. You, the frozen food distributor. And you, the food retailer. Stand today in the midst of a selling revolution. For today, you're in a merchandising era of self-service, where display and accessibility are the key to successful merchandising. Yes, today's problem is merchandising. To sell in high volume for high profits, frozen products are impulse items, and impulse buying is primarily an emotional decision.
I'll go. I don't really have any plugs. You know, but I have an unplug. So did you know that ESPN Plus, which, the reason you would buy that is so you could watch Monday Night Football, does not actually broadcast Monday Night Football. So
Wait, what?
yeah. So the whole reason I got ESPN Plus is so I didn't get it to watch the Cornhole Championships in Las Vegas every year. I got it to watch fucking ESPN Monday Night Football. You can't watch it on ESPN Plus. So that
So you
shit's
have
gone.
to have. So it's on normal ESPN.
It's on normal ESPN. You can watch it via the app, but you have to put in your cable provider or, Hulu or whatever you use to get your cable.
Uh-huh.
So that shit's gone. I thought I was getting a bargain for $7 a month to watch 4 football games, maybe 5.
Yeah.
But no.
Nope, just a lot of cornhole. Just cornhole.
And of course, I found out with 10 minutes to spare. So we had to get a quick thing on the NFL Plus, which actually showed the game. So, but you can't simulcast it to your TV, so we watched it on an iPad, huddled around like the days of yore. But anyway, yeah. So that's my unplug. Don't bundle that shit with Disney Plus. It's not worth it.
All right. We will not. No plugs? Just an unplug?
Yeah, I can't think of anything. we
That's
watched
fine.
a lot of mindless TV. Just keep
Did you watch
distracting.
SNL this week? I haven't seen it yet.
I watched the first half of it.
Gotcha.
I liked the opening bit, but it was okay.
Oops.
It's gonna take him a minute, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. All right, I've got a couple plugs and then an unplug. First plug is going to be watched this a couple weeks ago, and there's a series on Netflix called Untold. Have you guys heard about this? They do a lot of kind of like sports related documentaries. There's a similar kind of documentary series on HBO, but they've done several. They did one, Malice in the Palace, which is about like this big fight between the Pacers, another NBA game, and then they've done several of them. They're on the end of its second season, and the one I wanted to mention is called Untold: The Race of the Century, and it's actually about the America's Cup race, which I knew nothing about, was not interested in the slightest, but it actually kind of tells the tale of how I think it's like the New York City Yacht Club, which is just as fancy and pretentious as it sounds like, basically held this America's Cup race for like 100 years and never won. That's why it was the America's Cup. Like it was their race. Tyson, I believe your house is haunted, or
It is.
your door. That's cool. I'm glad you're comfortable with it. Like so many people aren't. Just really interesting. So basically it talks about how like this whole legacy of like, it's always been their race. They've always had just ridiculous sums of money to throw at it. Nobody could really compete. So it was just like this big sort of like, smoky room guys have their trophy and yay. But then like in the late 70s, Australia, like this scrappy bunch of Australians who basically get together and they're like, hey, we think we can build a better boat. And it just kind of goes through their trials and successes and failures of trying to beat the America's Cup. I don't want to get too into it about how successful or unsuccessful they are, but really is just, I mean, again, it's one of those documentaries where if you're not really that interested by the subject material, don't let that be off-putting. It was excellent. Probably one of the better documentaries I've seen in the last couple of years. So again,
cool.
On Netflix called Untold, The Race of the Century. I think it came out a couple weeks ago. Second recommendation, this was on Amazon Prime. They said it came out in 2022. IMDb says it's 2017, so I'm guessing it's 2017. I thought it was new. but it's called Here to Be Heard, the story of the Slits. And it's actually about the band The
The
Slits,
Slits.
who were, I don't know if you are familiar with them or not, but they were contemporaries of the Sex Pistols and the Clash, Sushi and the Banshees, kind of that late 70s kind of London scene. And they were sort of the all quote unquote first all female punk band. Um, I've listened to like the Slits, I think did a couple records. I think they did one in 80 and 81. They're not, it's interesting. It's one of those things where it's more sort of listening to music for the experience and history as opposed to, wow, this is going to be a really good tune. Because you do have to like, you kind of put yourself there and just kind of how being wacky and weird. So, there's nothing really. They did a lot of covers, very interesting covers. They kind of did a lot of, it was very simple stuff, kind of mixed with some simple reggae. And it's okay, but the story itself was actually really interesting. Decent documentary, just about kind of their kind of rise, this, kind of those 5 or 6 years where they had some success, and actually like when new wave was getting big, and they actually sort of became stars for a little while because people were just pumping money at them. And it's kind of a really interesting. So yes, about the Slits, interesting little tale. If you'd wish to check it out, that's on Amazon Prime. Here to Be Heard. And then the last one is a sort of a retro unplug. I'm going to try to do a retro plug or unplug going forward because I just like older movies more than I like new stuff, and that's just the way it's going to be.
That's fair.
So I'm going to try to find stuff that is obscure that I don't think either one of you have probably seen. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but this one I'm fairly confident neither one of you have seen. This is the 1987 classic, The Principal. Starring Jim Belushi, Louis
No.
Gossett Jr., and Ray Don Chung.
Oh my.
This is about. Have you seen this film?
No.
Started. Okay. All right.
Not.
Well,
When
this
did it
is an
come out?
unplug. It
When
is
did it come
not.
out?
It is. Sorry. 1987.
When did it come out?
1987.
Yeah, I think I actually saw this on HBO like a long time ago.
Okay.
What's it
All
about?
right. Well, we'll give that a pass. We'll claim you haven't seen. In
Okay.
either event, it is basically sort of like I was really hoping because I had Louis Gossett Jr. I was sort of really hoping for like kind of a Blackboard Jungle meets like Iron Eagle kind of thing. I was very disappointed. It's got Jim Belushi in it, and Jim Belushi was kind of one of those guys that like kind of did that weird balance between drama and comedy. And I don't know that like he was a comedic actor, but it always seemed like he was kind of in comedic films. Like there was the Mr. Destiny was one that I remember from that era. And he was in a bunch of stuff in like the late 80s, early 90s. That's the one that's coming to mind. But anyway, Jim Belushi is a terrible principal. He gets into a fight with his ex-wife's new boyfriend at a bar. And so he goes out and he takes a baseball bat to the guy's brand new Porsche Carrera. Really sweet car, by the way. And he breaks all the windows and he gets arrested and spends the night in jail. And then he goes back to school the next day and he's at like this very ritzy, like white school in California. And so they're like, guess what? We're promoting you to be a principal in this terrible school. And so it's very much like the much, much superior film, Lean on Me, which if you guys probably have seen that film,
Oh,
Lean
yeah.
on Me, excellent film. Um, it's a really bad, just kind of knockoff of that. But it also sort of tries to make him like an action star. There's a couple sequences that are like trying to really get to those heartstrings. Like he like goes in at like 6 o'clock in the morning to teach this girl like how to read. And like on the very first time, she sets him up with a biker gang and they beat the shit out of him. And he goes back to her like apartment the next night. And he's like, I'm still going to get through to you. And like, so then the next 6 a.m. she shows up. But then like there's also this amazing scene where someone's being assaulted in the high school and he's down in the parking lot on his hog because he does drive a Harley like that. We have to establish they really did try to make him a badass with marginal results. But he's like, he hears like there's a commotion on like the 4th floor of the high school. And so he proceeds to drive his Harley up the stairs of the entire high school to go resolve the matter. And it's not. Louis Gossett Jr. is barely in the movie. I don't even understand why he's there at all. He's in probably 3 or 4 minutes total. It's just not quite bad enough to be worth watching. So I'm gonna leave The Principal also on Amazon Prime. That was what was recommended after I watched the story of the Splits. It was like, perhaps you'll watch The Principal, and I did, and I wouldn't do it again.
Your algorithm is fucked up. Matt,
Yeah.
I can't. I've seen that movie multiple times, Matt.
Okay.
I can honestly
Okay.
say. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I remember
yeah,
from HBO when you'd watch anything because it was on HBO, you'd watch it many times as you want.
oh, absolutely. I had several
Yeah,
films like that. Yeah. Temple of Doom, seen that movie about a million times. Just One of the Guys is probably my favorite
Just One of the
HBO
Guys.
sort of
Classic.
yeah, seen that movie a million times. Yeah.
Just so you wait to see when she comes out of the just waiting for that scene where she comes out of the tuxedo. It's a whole
It was,
reason to watch the movie.
seeing boobs in 1986 was pretty sweet, Tyson. Still sweet.
Pretty sweet.
1986. My grandparents had this. I remember
80s
my
boobs.
grandparents had this. Like, they had HBO. My parents didn't have HBO when we were kids. We had the Disney Channel. But my grandparents had like this little 9-inch black and white TV in the back bedroom, and they had HBO. And so, like, I would watch like all the R-rated movies I could, like, just so I'd watch like Chuck Norris. Like, I was more into like sort of the ultra, like, as violent action movies 80s as I could watch. And that was one of the films I saw there, and I think I was like, oh shit, I don't think I'm ready for that yet. And I wasn't.
Actually, I had to look it up, Matt, because I was like, why do I remember the Slits? What am I thinking about? Because it's their album cover. Speaking
Yes,
of boobs,
yeah. Where they're basically sort of
they're
just
all
like dressed in mud and
and they're all topless and they're wearing like yeah. But I was just like, why do I remember that? Yeah. So anyway.
It's like that boob neuron in your brain connected the two topics, and it was like, boom,
Yeah,
boom,
just-
album cover, yeah. Dawson, did you watch anything?
What did I not watch? I watched
Hey,
a
that's
lot,
the
so I
question.
got a lot of plugs going on. I haven't been doing cool shit, so we've just been consuming. Like I said, Hocus Pocus 2, check it out. I thought it was super fun, and not just because I love Bette Midler, probably because of that actually, but Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy Najimy, like, they're great. The characters are great. The actors in it are great. Like, I loved it. So whatever. There's a new movie on
Matt, did you ever
Prime.
see this? Did you ever?
I don't know that I have. Was this?
Sorry, I was just curious.
Because
Have you seen the first one?
Probably came out like the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Is that when the first one came out? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that I don't. It was a Disney
and
Disney
it did
thing, right?
very poorly. Yeah.
Oh, did it really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it got like a cult following, like in the late 2000, like 2007, 2008, something like that.
I don't know
Yeah.
that I've watched it, but it might be. It's a Halloween related sort of be appropriate to watch on Halloween or the surrounding.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have to do that.
it's based in Salem. It's the Sanderson sisters who curse a town and like come back, and there's a book made out of human skin, and it has a giant eyeball. There's a
cool.
cat. Like, it's got all of the themes of Halloween that you want to see in one movie, with really great musical numbers, because they got Bette Midler to fucking be in it. So
maybe we'll check that out this Halloween. We should.
It's fun. It's super fun.
We should build up to some good Halloween movies, because we'll start
I
there.
highly recommend it. Yeah.
Great.
Big fan, and it's on Disney. So check it out.
Is the original on Disney too? Do you
yes.
know? Excellent.
Both of them are. So yeah, don't rent that shit on iTunes or
Don't rent that shit.
Which they keep trying. I mean, they are like out there in full force, but whatever. I guess there's suckers out there.
Yeah.
There is a new movie on Prime that I watched, I guess it was a week and a half ago, called My Best Friend's Exorcism. And it's directed by Damon Thomas, who did a lot of TV, like Killing Eve. It is a total 80s horror comedy. You both will love it. I promise.
We almost checked that out the other night. So yeah, I'm excited to hear that it's good.
Yeah, watch it. There's a guy, I don't know if you guys watch Glow on Netflix.
Oh, absolutely.
The female wrestler show. So the guy who was the announcer is in this movie, and he plays like he's one of the three brothers that are like bodybuilders for God who like come to this girls' high school and like, bench press across and like all of this
Right.
shit. Like it's so good and it's really well done and it just kind of fits that whole like fun 80s like horror genre to the T. I think they did a really good job. So
And it's on Netflix?
definitely check that out. It is on Prime.
Prime. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And then there is a new movie on Apple Plus called The Greatest Beer Run Ever, directed by one of the Farrelly brothers, Peter, I think. And that's quite good. It's a really cool story about this total idiot from New York, or actually New Jersey, who his friends were in Vietnam. And he was like, I got to do something. Why don't I go there and bring them a beer? And he actually did it. It's a true story of this guy bringing people who were fighting in Vietnam PBR beers. You couldn't make it up. But Zac Efron plays the lead, and he does a phenomenal job in it. So Jonas and I both really liked it. But that's on Apple Plus. And then last movie, I promise. I've been wanting to see it for a long
You better
time.
not fuck with us, Dawson.
Yeah, come
better
on.
Be done. You better be done. All right.
Well, okay. I'm going to start watching more foreign movies and plugging those because of this movie. Have you guys heard of The Worst Person in the World?
I have.
It got a lot of buzz at Cannes Film Festival, I want to say in like 2019 or something like that. It's a really good film. The acting in it is phenomenal. It's all about this woman in her 20s and how she's navigating those waters into her 30s. And that's really all I'm going to say. The directing is phenomenal. The cinematography is beautiful. The story itself, the dialogue, it has everything you want in a really good movie. I couldn't recommend that enough. I can't wait to see it again. It's that good. And then the last things actually two more things I wanted to plug. There are new albums out by some of our favorites. The Pixies, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and the Beths all put out new albums recently, and they're all quite good. So check them out. Have you guys listened to any of those, by the way?
I've listened to the Beths, and I listened to half of the Pixies. I haven't gotten the rest of it yet.
What'd you think, Tice? Were
I
you
liked
disappointed?
The Pixies was a little bit more mellow than I was expecting,
Hmm.
but I liked that. I thought it was a nice, because the last couple ones have been pretty angular. I don't know if you thought that, but and I love everything the Beths do. So I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like
That record's super fun.
Yeah. So I mean, there was something else that came out. But everything I've heard from that Yeah Yeah Yeahs record, I haven't listened to it yet, but I've heard they were all over Sirius XM a couple weeks ago, and I really like a "Spitting Off the Edge of the World" song, and I might listen to that whole thing.
You should. I love it. There's a couple songs I love in particular. One called "Love Bomb," of course, and then there's another one called "Wolf," which is really good, very upbeat. I just want to see them before I die. Like that's really like they're on the bucket list. They have this new album out. They're going on tour. Let's go see them, guys. Come on. Please. Sorry, Smith, you may have to go to a giant venue.
That's okay.
You probably will.
Okay. Yeah,
Maybe
it probably actually will be a giant venue. Yeah.
Well, last time they were in town here, which was a while ago, but they haven't put out a record in like what, 6 years or
at least.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Like
yeah.
They were playing at the Granada, so it might not be huge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's hoping. That would be fucking sweet. If they play in Lawrence at the Granada, I'm getting a ticket. I'll be there. That would be amazing. And then my last plug is there's this viral video, and I'll post it probably on our Faceplace group, but it's of these two older people. One is playing a keyboard. The other one is, I would say, a woman in her mid to late 50s. And they sing a song called "Taste the Honey Sauce," and it is quite delightful. I fucking loved it. I listened to that song so many times.
All right.
It's great. Yeah. Tice, you haven't listened to this? I feel like Smith, maybe you have. No?
Nope, I haven't heard it.
Yeah.
It is. It's great.
It's pretty good.
Why didn't I send this to you guys?
I thought
probably
I
'cause
did get
there's
it from
stuff
you, but
going on, so
maybe I saw it on. I don't remember what I don't know.
I'll send it. I'm gonna send it to you right away after we wrap. And make you listen to it and watch the
Okay.
video because it's like set in a thrift store, and she's like really getting into it. I love it. God, it's good. Anyway, no unplugs. I loved everything that I consumed lately.
Nice. It's good to have a no
Yeah.
unplug week. That's
I
great.
know.
Yeah, it is.
Feels good.
It's,
Yeah. Now I just need to have a life, I guess. Get
yeah.
out there, do stuff.
It's getting
It's
cold.
like it's overrated.
It's all shutting down again, Dawson. The
Yeah.
time for activity was now over
Yeah.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
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 Time to hibernate.
Yep. Exactly.
Time to wind
eat
down.
soup. Wear socks.
It's good. It's good. Well, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think
You guys got anything?
I don't think
No.
so. We talked about everything.
Covered it all?
We've covered it up to the moment, unless something terrible has happened.
We are current right now.
We're current. Yep, we're
We're
up to
so
date.
current.
Looks are good. Yep, here it is. 8:17 Eastern Standard Time.
We are
Amazing.
Nothing. Still here. Still haven't been nuked.
Still
Still
here.
here. All right.
All right, fellas.
let's hope they pipe down on that nuclear rhetoric.
Yeah, it does make me a little.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of hearing about that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I am too.
Nerve-wracking.
No, didn't we get enough of that? Apparently not. No, it just.
Yeah.
We're seasoned for this shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're like, we hear that word.
I remember.
I'm sure I don't know what kids today think when they're just like, yeah. Just like, anyway. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Another week.
Right, well, yeah. Next time. We'll see if we're still here.
Next time. We'll see where we stand next time. So the DEFCON level is this time next week.
Yeah, we shall see.
Signing off.
Fingers crossed. All right. Always a pleasure, guys.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.